asking nicely. This is somebody that I respect, and this is something that I thought about talking about here for a minute. But you know, why don't I make money from what I do? You know, artistically and all that, which I have, and in the past and everything else. But the way I see it is, the information I'm given is just information. I'm not going to charge for that. If I put something out, then maybe, yeah, I'll charge for it if it's a record or something like that. But the way I see it is this: everything I do has a reason behind it. So, with the games I make, it is to, and the gaming systems, I should say, is to inspire creativity. That's it. To get people to be creative. Nothing else. That's why I make them. Period. Um, I have some writing in the works. If I release that, sure, I'll sell that, but it'll be cheap. The gaming systems that I make are going to be free. If people want to make money off art or making stories or adventures or whatever for a tabletop RPG, guess what? All of them are going to basically have an open gaming license where you can do whatever the fuck you want. Just make sure that there's something on the front that says that I didn't make it, okay? I'll come up with a logo or whatever the fuck. And yeah, there you go. But adventures and stuff for those, sure, I will, put them out and maybe charge for those if I do enough eventually, right? That just is what it is. But I've been personally broke or, poor a lot of my life. A lot of us have, and especially nowadays, I'm not going to charge people shit. You know what I mean? Um, if I come out with something, if people want to support me, they can support me however they want, but that's fine. That's on them. I really don't give a shit. And if anyone wants to say thanks or whatever, you can say thanks however you want or not. It really doesn't matter because I'm not doing it any of what I do to get ahead. Let's put it this way. I do what I do because I don't know how not to. And hopefully that makes sense. Like, hey Logan, what's going on? But like I was saying, I know how I am wired, and I know not everyone's wired the same way. Now, my main thing on here is not, I'm not telling you how to get money or anything else. I'm basically explaining how I do things. You know what I mean? So, and for me, the creative aspect of the whole thing is the important thing. That's the thing I like doing, period. Bar none. That's it. Meaning, okay, quick background on me, right? I'm 40 years old. I My first job was working at a radio station named Radio Oz. It's no longer around. It was a radio station aimed at children. I was an entertainment reporter. I found out about it from listening to the radio, wrote a speech, thought it sucked when I hit the stage, so I was shaken, nervous, right? Pulling a speech out of my ass and got a job, got hired with some other people and all that. So, and Logan, yeah, there's only 2 people in here or 9 people in here. You know what? It's going to be shown later too. So I'm going to do it like there's a million people in here, even if there's one. So, hey, Octavia. But like I said, you can do this for money or you can do this for other reasons. I've also been a stand up comic. I stopped doing that, but I did that for about 6 years. I've been a musician off and on 24 years, I want to say now. So, okay, Logan, that's cool. And by the way, the more you say, the more this video is going to get pushed out to more people. So thank you for that. But what I'm getting at is, sure, I could have made money with a lot of those things. I started a magazine before as well. And some of those I did actually make money, but that was never the intention. The intention for me has always been to make stuff. So I've been in punk bands and all that. Hey, Addie, that's fine. And Logan, I've had people say a lot worse to me than this, but I just don't see why people. No, Logan, you know what? just because it's going to distract other people and I see what you're doing, that's fine because I've done that too, right? So let's see. Over the years, I was in, let me think. I forget what we called that one in high school. I was in Kill Attack back, what, 21 years ago now? One of the original Logan, you are the one that I'm into, and there you go. Eddie, sorry about that. But you can basically do whatever it is you want to do artistically. Like I said, I've made money off stuff. I've had chances to tour. Unfortunately, they haven't really came through, and that was more of a money issue on my part. Um, but when you're getting offered to tour the Philippines, that's the reason I'm saying it's a money issue, because we weren't sure what the payout was going to be, right? Once we got over there. And the tickets alone were going to be expensive just to get over there. Plus, with we didn't know what was okay and what was not okay over there, right? In the Philippines. So that could have been a lot of trouble for us really fast. Probably a good thing it didn't work out. But like I said, if you want to make money from doing art, there's plenty of ways to be able to do it. And there's plenty of people telling you that there's only one way to make money from doing art, or only one way to make art, period. And throughout my life, I've proven that wrong because I've also been a booking agent. I worked booking shows at a bar for 5 years or so, I think it was. We started doing them all with donations, right? So it was, we didn't charge anything at the door. We passed a hat basically at the end of the show. And then I gave the money to the bands. After that, and this was, damn, I'm getting old. Like 17 years ago that I was doing this stuff when I started doing it, right? We'd have $3 for shows that had bands from in the area and state. If there was an out of state band on it, the tickets were $5. The most I ever charged for a show was $5. Right? And when we started booking on a Saturday night at that bar at 11 o'clock, it would be empty besides me and a bartender, right? So what we did is he let me start booking, and within a month, the place was doing pretty good on a Saturday night. By the end of it, you could not walk through the place because it was so packed, right? So there are plenty of ways. Music is the easiest way if you're trying to make money off this shit, right? I'm just telling you flat out. But like I said, money is never my goal. It's something that I can make from it, but I like making the stuff more than the money I make off it or anything else. And some people are wired that way. Now, not everyone's going to be wired that way, and a lot of people are just trying to do art to get rich and get famous and get all this other shit. You get what I'm saying? So, in King, it would be cool to go to the Philippines. At the same point, with that one, I'm trying to remember the name of the band that we were going to tour with over there. It's been so long. I haven't talked to the guy in over 12 years. But we also had our foot in Japan. So what it seemed like what was going to happen is we were going to go tour the Philippines and then jump over to Japan, which Japan can be harder to get a show in and all that. But I'll tell you flat out how that worked out, right? And I'll tell you why it worked out that way. I'm not going to make it sound like it was some great, that we were some great thing or whatever. I was running a magazine at the same time that I started myself. It was all about music. That's it. It was about getting bands heard, nothing else, period. And due to that, excuse me, real quick, I'm going to take this to a different area. But what I was getting at, because I know what's about to happen, it's about to get loud for a second. But what I was getting at with that is I was running a magazine at the same time. So it was all about getting bands heard and everything else. And due to that, I kind of got some let's put it this way. I not necessarily special privileges. That's not what I'm going to call it because that's not what it was. What it really was I was able to talk to these people and everything else. And because I interviewed them and all that, we had a repertoire going on, right? Back and forth among each other. So they liked me as a person. They liked that I was helping them out and do that. We kept in contact. And because we kept in contact, eventually they found out that I wasn't a band, right? They heard the stuff and then they wanted to play with us. That's the way it worked. I had a little bit of a special edge on it. Now, not everyone's going to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? But you can even start a magazine if you want. You know what I'm saying? You can build whatever kind of community you want to build. Now, like I said, some people are just trying to make a ton of money. Some people aren't trying to make a ton of money. Some people are just trying to do it to do it. And I've been more of the do it to do it camp, right? Because if I'm good at what I do, money's going to come, opportunity's going to come, period. Now, how can I say this, right? When I was doing stand up, yeah, I'd like to make some money here and there and all that, but there's a guy, may he rest in peace, named Chili Chalice, right? He used to write for the Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Back in the day, his openers on the road were Sinbad. He was one of them, and then why can't I think of the other guy? George Lopez, right? And I met Chili's son, Dad. Dad's an awesome guy. And Dad even talked about being babysat by them. You know what I'm saying? So, but he used to do, I would call them comedy classes, but they aren't comedy classes. It's kind of punch it up type stuff, right? He didn't say you have it or you don't, that kind of thing. So, me and a guy that was a friend of mine at the time went down to Toledo. So, we go down there. There's a handful of other people there besides Chili and Dad. So everyone goes up, does their stuff, and you know, they do all right. He has some pointers and all that. And I just do what I normally do. Apparently it won him over, right? And I think part of the reason it won him over is I was doing something different. And that's a big thing, is doing something different at the time, something to be able to stand out. Now, if you, at least in my experience, if you do what it is that you want to do in the first place and don't let other people dictate to you what you should be doing, you're kind of going on the right track. The reason I say that is there's a guy I went to high school with. I've talked about this guy before. I'm not going to name his name, but he's a really, really, really good artist, meaning he can do photorealistic stuff by hand. First time I was over at his house, there was a poster of Jimi Hendrix. It looked like it was a printed poster, you know, had like Jimi Hendrix on it 6 different times, 6 different ways. He drew it. It was not printed. It was his. And that's his art skill, right? Now, he's trying to make a living, last thing I knew, doing art that is not his style, to try to help people's businesses, designing logos and stuff like that, instead of using the full ability that he has. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? All I know is he's still struggling a lot. He's not enjoying what he's doing either. Last time I talked to him, which has been a while, he didn't like doing the art he was doing, but he thought that that was a way to be able to do the art he wanted to do eventually. And I'm going to tell you flat out, that's not the way that any of this works. Right? Just like being different is all right, here's the best way I can put it. Being different in music gets you seen and heard, right? Being different with movies, same thing, seen and heard. With stand-up, it's going to make it a little bit tougher besides on open mic nights because they take everybody. But I was flat out told that in some, you have to wait for people to catch up with you. And what that means is, yeah, you're going to hit eventually, but you're going to have a hard road getting to that. What's the best way I can put this? All right, so say you are a opener, right? and you are obeying all the rules of staying an opener, because how comedy shows work is there's an opener, an MC, and a headliner, right? MC opens the whole show. There's a comic that opens the, you know, before the main guy type thing, or girl, or whatever. So if you're doing an opening act, and you're always doing, uh, whatever the rules are to be an opening act, well, guess what? Chances are you might just keep work as an opening act. Nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. But if you want to be a headliner, then why are you going to follow the rules of being an opening act all the time? Don't you want to show people that you can headline? I understand showing people that you can be a team player, because how it works in comedy is everyone's working together pretty much to put on the best show that they can. It's not like with music where you're going to come play what you can play regardless and just do what you're going to do. With comedy, you're trying to make it smooth for the headliner, make sure the headliner looks as good as possible. That way, the venue looks as good as possible. Make sure everyone's having a good time and drinking, because that's the way, more than likely, wherever you're doing that show at is making their money. Just to be completely and utterly honest with you, I'm somebody that's done shows, booked shows, done open mics, done all that, right? So, but like I said, you don't need to make money off doing that. You can choose to, or you can choose not to. And it can come either way. There's opportunities that can come no matter what, if you choose for them to be that way, right? Just don't focus on the money first, because I'm sure everyone's heard some music out there that they can't stand. They're like, oh, this is just to make a bunch of money. Yeah, and it sounds like it. That's the reason that nobody cares about it. And then it gets copied because it made a bunch of money. You know what I'm saying? Make whatever it is you want to make, however you want to make it. Don't let anyone tell you that there's one way to do things, because there's not. And that's really all there is to it.